Oh, sleepers. Sleepers balling.
Balling and shot calling.
Shot caller, 20 blade, only Impala, caller, get late night.
I came into SOM with a very simple philosophy, which is that I'm a baller. What baller means is that I'm a self-made person. I achieved success as an entrepreneur, and while doing that, my idea of group work is one that was very, very clear. There's no group work in my company. I make all the decisions, I call all the shots, and at the end of the day, I didn't really need to expose myself to having people have different opinions and etc. I make a lot of money and I call the shots. It's as simple as that. We'll see what happens.
Day one, we came together and shared our life experiences, our values, and really our common goals for the program. And this helped us put a stake in the ground as to where we stood when we first came together. We set the foundation for trust and recognize our commitment to working with each other, and our alignment through this journey facilitated the discussions to arrive at a process. But given the presence of multiple alpha personalities, it was natural for us to set lofty goals for the team and really feel as though we already had the tools to implement our process, and that we really didn't need help. But I think we expected great outcomes from operating a well-oiled approach, but our varied experiences through group activities suggested that we had a lot of room to improve and grow.
So by the third class of managing teams, we were actually trying to save each other from a hurricane. And considering that my team is full of type A individuals who consider themselves very logical and very intelligent, we thought, well, this should be a piece of cake, But it turned out to be a pretty tumultuous exercise for us because Sedina and I had a conflict. And ultimately things were resolved because we talked through our issue about the group scoring and everything. But I was still uncertain about whether our group would be able to recover from having conflict so early in our team. Thankfully, Sedina and I hugged it out. He has learned to be more accepting. I have learned to express my ideas clearly. We both aim to give each other more speaking time, but our team as a whole has not only become stronger, but it is baller.
Anagram was an extremely frustrating project for us. We did fairly well as a team as far as timing was concerned, but we had one thing off in the puzzle. That one thing off was actually a tremendous success for our team dynamics because it made us realize that we weren't aligned in the ways we thought we were previously, and that the things that we corrected in the past, although improved things, didn't make things perfect. And what we figured out during the debriefing of this project was that we needed to not assume strengths and weaknesses of our teammates, but actually talk about them in a more open way. We needed to align better in our goals. We needed to create a system where we're more homogeneous and had a little bit more structure and hierarchy. And after this exercise, we felt that we succeeded in improving things, and we shall see in the future if that actually made the difference.
The star power is such a sobering exercise. Many of us came here with a pretty inflated image of ourselves. But the fact is that we are no better than anyone else. We are all human. Successes, power, and influence could be extremely blinding and dangerous. It can easily get to you and make your head swell, and you forget about the people and the world around you. This exercise reminded us that we need to keep our eyes and ears open to listen and learn from others' perspectives. We also need to keep our own ego in check and to create an environment where we can have open discussions and share responsibilities so that the team members and team can both grow.
We came into the Lego exercise confident, but what we learned from previous exercises doesn't mean that we properly implemented it. We had loosely coordinated efforts, but clearly we didn't implement it. We do trust each other, but our desire to avoid conflict and focus on implementing a strategy and having a clearly defined plan clearly negatively impacted the effectiveness of the team. So what have we learned from this? How can we implement this? As much as our team has fallen, I feel that these have been learning opportunities for us. We've had the ability to implement clear strategies in defining our roles, defining team leaders for work, defining team leaders for meetings, having clearly written agenda, and implementing these processes after careful planning, thought, and consideration. And I know that it's helped me not only be a better part of the team, but be a better person, and definitely is something that I could bring back to my company as soon as I leave here after these 2 weeks.
When I came into the MBA program, I thought I was a good leader, that I had good managing skills. I was successful at work and I succeeded in a lot of projects. What I did learn in the last 2 weeks is that I have tunnel vision. And I think many of us realized that even though we were successful, we had tunnel vision. We just weren't aware of all the tools that were out there to grow as leaders and as individuals. One of the things that we took out of these 2 weeks and we plan to implement in the future is the opportunity for all of us to debrief in a group every week or after every project to sort of become self-aware as a team and as an individual whether our processes are working, and to adapt and change for the better.
Our group has excelled or leaped to another level. It has always been when we have come out and addressed conflict. And it has forced us to address that situation, acknowledge the situation, and attack, and deal with the situation at that moment. And only after that conflict occurred and was resolved did we proceed to another level of heightened, efficiency.
So one of the things I've learned from other groups was that when you don't have expertise in a particular project, it may make sense to step out and say, hey, this is not my strength, but take another role in the project. So for this video project, I decided, or I knew that creativity is just not a strength of mine. So I decided to step out, tell my team, hey, I'm going to step out of this process, but I'm willing to put the entire thing together, edit the video, and that's my contribution to this project.
I think one aspect of our processes that's a little bit intangible, but I think it's been very effective, is that we have what we call the BS meter. Someone comes in and gives an opinion or an idea that is not truly challenged. Usually it comes out as being something that's a little bit, that hasn't been really thought deeply. So our team culture is one where we want our true selves to come out. You're constantly being challenged, and that helps you to improve. I think going forward, I see a lot of margin for improvement, not only for the team but also individuals, because we want our best at all times. I can rely on 5 people who can tell me, hey, Sabina, this is BS. You need to, give us more.
I feel like I've almost seen my team go through a life cycle even in terms of objectives. Initially, I think we were all turning into a assignment-producing machine. It was all about how fast can we do it, how can we divide labor. This was not aligned with my goals because I was looking for more than just knocking out assignments. We have now aligned our goals, and now we're all on the same page because we're no longer focusing on efficiency and running like a company. We're actually running like Ideal, where we're trying to grow and learn and also do assignments. It's about how we get there, not the destination.
Yes.
Well, I come in knowing that basically I'm going to learn a lot. However, still I am surprised that, the dimension, the the depth that I'm able to actually learn from these classes and from my teammates. And it's really it's not just about personal growth and personal learning. Actually, I've learned that it's actually as much about managing myself as managing the team, and that's actually quite enlightening.